Shalom. Before I begin, I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Rakakwadash, and a double honors to the apostles and to the elders of Great Millstone who were well, and peace and salutations to the elect who are pushing this word in truth and in sincerity. And I just got done watching that the interview between Vocab Malone and that old One West guy. Um, I can't remember his name, but the the one of the topics I was talked about in the conversation between those two was the how the Most High, how he punished Egypt for the enslavement of the Israelites in the time of Egypt. Okay, so the Lord like came down and freed them, and they were talking about how it's going to be done in this time as well. You know, because this place America, which is biblically known as the modern day Babylon the Great, it enslaved uh, Yahweh Bashim Shai's people, the Hebrew Israelites. And so there is a sure judgment to come upon this place. But yet they will continue to put on and push through Christianity and speak boastfully and proudly against the Lord, you know, that the Lord is not going to punish this place. You know, and that's, man. So I got this right here, Psalms 49 and verse 11, and it says, their inward thought is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own names. You know, and who does that? Esau, Edom. And bro, the Lord is going to, man, come on, bro. Like, what's that one in Numbers? Numbers 35 and 33. And it says, So ye shall not so ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defileth the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by the blood of him that shed it. You know, and who killed uh um who damn near killed killed the natives to extinction? Esau, Edom. So that's blood that is shed upon the land. All right. Who killed who killed you know, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of Negroes here? Who shed that blood? All right. You know, and who shed the blood of the Issacharites, man, to to uh, 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 to to steal this land from the so-called Mexicans, Esau, Edom, man. You know, so hey, just like it talks about in the scriptures, blood shall pursue thee. Ezekiel 35. You know, and this whole thing. Actually, I'll start up from the top. Ezekiel 35 and verse 1. And this chapter is titled prophecy against prophesy Salaki, prophesy against Mount Seir. Okay, and Mount Seir was a place in the land of Edom. you know, and they call themselves Caucasians. And in the land of Edom, there there are there are mountains that are called they're called the mountains of Caucasus. So they are Edomites, man. Okay, they call themselves white, but they are red. You know, they're red and pink. You know, they don't have no pigmentation, and their blood showeth forth through their skin. So without further ado, Ezekiel 35 verse 1 it says, moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and uh, and prophesy against it. Oh, Salaki, this word was uh, prophecy. Uh, verse 3, you know. Oh, and real quick, who's doing this? Who's truly speaking against this place on all cylinders? You know, not withholding um, anything back, not not sugarcoating anything. Okay, it's great millstone. You know, it's prophesying and standing boldly against this place on the street corners. Okay, on the highways and byways, out in public. All right, not behind a curtain. Okay, not in secret, but in boldness, as the Lord said that that his men would be. You know, bold. Verse 3 says, and say unto it, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out mine hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord Yahweh, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, you know, and that word perpetual means everlasting. So a long, enduring, forever hatred, and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. And by the way, his blessing is the sword. Okay, so that's how he gets things done, and that's how he lives. Is you know, is through the force of the sword. You know, and this place America fucking abuses that. Man, he uses the hell out of that on all sides of the earth. You know, he sends his military to do you know, all types of destruction against other nations. You know, and according to prophecy, all of the other nations are going to wake up how uh, um, they're going to wake up to the fact that that America is the issue, and they're all going to come against it. That is Bible prophecy. You know, they're all going to shoot their nuclear missiles. This place, America. You know, and so that's the Great Lake of Fire that is spoken about in the Book of Revelation. All right, but Salakia, I'll continue on in this verse. It says, "And has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee." You know, so the Lord is going to shed blood upon this place. Nahum 1 and 3, just to prove that point. It says, Salakia, the Lord Yahweh is slow to anger and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. And I always get this word for acquit. There's a lot of people who don't know what certain words mean. You know, they get turned away pretty quick. But that's why that our teachers have taught us to go into words, man, because it gives you that deeper level of understanding. So the word equip means to be empty, be clear, be pure, be free, be innocent, be desolate, be cut off. So basically, he's not going to forget their works. He's not going to make them free of what they done. And so that's why I got the B and C here. It says to be clean, be free from guilt. They are guilty, man. All right, and then it says here in C, to be free, to be exempt from punishment. Be exempt from obligation, to leave unpunished. So the Lord's not going to leave the wicked unpunished, man. He will surely, he will surely avenge his people. Especially the elect. This is Baruch 4. Start at 17, and it says, "But what can I help you? For he that brought these plagues upon you will deliver you from the hands of your enemies. Go your way, O my children, go your way, for I am left desolate. I have put off the clothing of peace, and put upon me the sackcloth of my prayer. I will cry unto the everlasting in my days. Be of good cheer, O my children. Cry unto the Lord, and he will deliver you from the power and hand of the enemies." And he's going to do so, man. Because if you go on, actually, I'll just keep reading. Verse 22. It says, "For my hope is in the everlasting, that he will save you, and joy is come unto me from the Holy One, because of the mercy which shall soon come upon you, or come unto you, from the everlasting our Savior. For I sent you out with mourning and weeping, but the Most High will give you to me again with joy and gladness forever. Like as now the neighbors of Zion have seen your captivity, so shall they see shortly your salvation from our God, which shall come upon you with great glory and brightness of the everlasting." This whole chapter goes in, man. The Lord is going to bro, the Lord has not forgotten his people. There's one that says that the Lord has graven us upon his palms, man. So every time that he looks on his palms, man, he sees his people. He's not going to forget about them. But everyone is in this spirit, man. Spirit right here. Let's see. Fuck you, bros. Might get interrupted. I'll try to wrap this up. Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. And it says, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. So people see how things are done and how there's not a punishment, and they think that there's never going to be a punishment. Okay, but there is, and it will surely come to pass. So with that being said, I hope you pray that that this video was edifying, and this is the next one. Shalom.